15 million Sancho bid comes in, and about the 7th report that's come out saying there's an agreement between Sancho and Juventus. Is there actually an agreement between Sancho and Juventus? Because Juventus have just signed Consal, but media keeps continuing to report this. Like, what is this situation going on? We've been linked to a different player. We've been linked to a wingback. We've been linked to Brighton left back Estupinan. Been linked to him by a decent source. Could Manchester United be making a shock move at Estupinan? I know The Athletic and some credible outlets did say that United want to address the wingback issue this summer. Have Brentford just got their Mbuemo money? Brentford making bids for their Mbeumo replacement. You don't normally make bids until you've got the money. We're going to talk about that. Nicholas Jackson, more links, yep. Emi Martinez, more links, more rumours. There's a lot of talk about Emi Martinez to Man United, but we've literally been told unless Onana is sold, we can't get Martinez. And considering Onana, it's difficult to say when he's injured. I just think that Emi Martinez's agent is using United to put some stories out. But we have been linked to the goalkeeper Lammens, who is going to be a lot cheaper than Martinez, and is seen as a more realistic deal to push Onana next season. And Villa do have interest in Garnacho, so maybe that's where Emi Martinez talk is coming from, maybe a swap deal there, but I'd rather do a swap deal involving Watkins than Emi Martinez. I feel like Lammens and Watkins I prefer rather than Emi Martinez and the crap striker. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into the first story. Let's get into the Sancho news. And this is coming from Padella, that apparently Manchester United have received a 15 million bid from Sancho. So literally, this came out not long after we got the Juventus Consal here we go, and it was said that Juventus prefer Consal to Sancho, but apparently Juventus have also, after signing Consal, put in a 15 million bid for Sancho. Now that is the book value. We wanted 25 million from Sancho. Chelsea were willing to give us 25 million. Sancho said no to Chelsea. He said no to playing in the Club World Cup, winning trophies just for a little bit of extra money. Juventus and Napoli have been in for Sancho, so is Fenerbahce, but he turned down Fenerbahce because he wants to play in one of Europe's top leagues. So if you want to play in one of Europe's top leagues, you've got to take a wage cut. But he was making his move to Juventus and Napoli difficult because he didn't want to take a wage cut. And his book value is 15 million. I think Man United are at a point where if it gets him out the door, they'll just sell him for 15 million, like anything to get him out the door. But I don't know if Juventus have made a bid. Like Padella is saying this, I think he's one of the better sources of information in it. But no On-Sing news, no Romano news. But he's suggesting that basically Juventus have put a 15 million bid in for Sancho, which who knows if United will accept. And he's about the 7th or 8th Italian source to come out and say that Juventus have a full agreement with Sancho, his entourage, and now they need to follow through and agree a fee with United. Now, for me, we are hearing stuff that United have agreed to basically pay Sancho to leave and this and that. So maybe now United have agreed to pay Sancho to leave. If that is true, Sancho is willing to accept Juventus' wage demands. Who knows? Or maybe Sancho's regretting not going to Chelsea. Maybe Sancho thought when he said no to Chelsea, more clubs would be in for him. He's got a bit of an ego. He's got a lot of people hyping him behind the scenes. Maybe he thought there was going to be loads of clubs wanting him after Chelsea, and maybe Juventus just preferred Consal. Maybe the clubs just preferred other options, and maybe he's putting stuff out to his agent to try and pretend that this club's in for him and that club's interested in him to maybe draw up more interest. We just don't know. We're going to see how this develops, what Romano says, what Ornstein says. But let's get into the next story, which is on Omari Hutchinson, Sass and Mbuemo, and we'll get into the Estupinan news and other stories. So, guys, by the way, I forgot to do my intro. Welcome back to Alice Talks Football. If you do like today's video, feel free to hit that like button. And if you're new, I'm on daily updates, and I do every day. I try and do a 10-minute update show where I round up all the news in 10 minutes, so it's quick and easy for you guys. Feel free to subscribe. So this is what is coming in now, that Brentford have apparently bid 35 million for winger Omari Hutchinson. Now, Alice, why is that relevant, you may ask? Well, what did Fabrizio Romano come out and say yesterday? Fabrizio Romano come out and say that Brentford are eyeing Omari Hutchinson as an Mbuemo replacement. They will go for him if they lose Mbuemo. Now, there's one thing eyeing your Mbuemo replacement, there's one thing looking at your Mbuemo replacement, but there's another thing putting in a bid. You know, we'll have to wait and see if more reliable sources come out and confirm this bid, but you don't put in a bid for anyone unless you've got the money. Have maybe Manchester United made a third bid? Are Brentford anticipating a third bid? Have Man United anticipated Brentford they're going to make a third bid of this much, and there's some verbal conversations going on? Because for Brentford to bid for Omari Hutchinson before they have even sold Mbeumo suggests that maybe the Man United money is there, the Man United money is coming in. I know we had David Ornstein come out yesterday and basically say for the last 3 weeks the deal hasn't got any closer, which was a massive blow. But we have been told by very credible outlets that Man United want to get the deal done this week. They plan to get the deal done this week so we can go on pre-season tour with them next week. Obviously, 3 weeks ago, we were told by somewhat credible journalists that his medical would have been next week and the deal was essentially agreed, and that was wrong. So obviously, the journalists saying that we want to get it done this week could definitely be wrong. I feel like everybody's been so wrong in Mbuemo, and sometimes it feels like it's off when we haven't made any progress and it's dragged on so long. But I don't think Manchester United can afford to not sign Mbuemo, in the sense of they spent so much time on this. I think the outrage if they didn't get this deal done and over the line would be absolutely massive. But I feel like we're just not going to F up the Mbeumo deal because it's too big of an F up if we F it up now because of how long it's gone on. And I think that it will be done this week. So this is a suggestion here. Brentford bid 35 million for Omari Hutchinson, potentially the money is in. Maybe we have made that third bid. Maybe we are going to get the here we go very soon. So, as I mentioned in my intro, Manchester United are interested in signing Pervis Estupinan is genuine. Manchester United's interest in signing Estupinan is genuine and have now held talks on the player's side. No formal approach yet, but Brighton are open to selling. So this was said by, again, somewhat credible sources of information that United do have genuine interest in Estupinan. It's not just a random link. It's not just a player we've been linked to for no reason. We have a genuine interest there and have held talks on the player's side. Now, you've got to remember that Manchester United have held conversations around signing a wingback. It obviously is Mbuemo. They want a striker, they want a midfielder, they want a wing-back, and they want a goalkeeper to challenge Onana, and they also want a young centre-back. That's all that they want to do this summer, which is 7 additions, which I don't think we're able to do, considering it takes 6 weeks to get Mbeumo in. But we do know that United have interest in a wing-back. The question is, what are United going to prioritise? Mbeumo is done. Anything after Mbeumo, apart from like a £7-8 million deal because of all the money we've made from Elanga and Alvaro and stuff, is fine. We can do a few 15-20 million signings. Maybe after Mbeumo, we can maybe go up to 20 million and maybe spend 8 million on this, 7-8 million on the centre back we've been linked to. We can maybe spend 12-13 million on the backup keeper. So we can probably do that after Mbeumo. But to sign the wing back, the centre mid, and the striker that we want, we're going to need to have to sell Garnacho and Rashford to facilitate the funds to do that. But we do want a wing back. This could be one to watch. It'll be interesting to see if this develops. But we also know we want a goalkeeper, and basically the situation seems to be right now, Onana set to stay, Bayindir, they want to move him on, so there could be a keeper under 20 million that comes in to replace Bayindir. John Victor from Botafogo has been probably linked the most recently. There was links to Milinkovic-Savic, which had died down, but another name that keeps getting thrown around Manchester United is Lammens. Are we being used to get him a move, or do we have some interest in him? Man United and Leeds are interested in signing Royal Antwerp keeper Sen Lammens. No goalkeeper in the world made more saves or prevented more goals than him last season. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I went and watched Lammens play, football last season. But what I will say is his underlying numbers are ridiculous. His stats, his highlights, what I've seen of him, he looks ridiculous. But obviously I've not seen him across multiple full 90s or anything like that, but his underlying numbers look good. Now, he is linked to Leeds, who want a goalkeeper. Could United be getting used to hurry up Leeds? I'm not sure. We can't make a move for a goalkeeper until one is gone, and Bayindir is still here, and Onana is very much going to stay. But I think this is one that could develop if we can get some updates on Bayindir. I think it'd be a really good goalkeeper to come in and challenge Onana. The way I'm hoping this window goes is we get Garnacho movement soon. Now that Chelsea have sold Madueke, maybe we can get 60 million for Garnacho. Maybe Barcelona bid up for Rashford, and then maybe we can go and get Lammens in at goal. Maybe we can go and get that young centre back from Norway for a couple million quid. We can use the Alvaro money to cover that. Maybe we can go and sign a wing back for 25 million quid, a midfielder for 30 million quid, like that Javi Guerrero guy. would be nice. And then we can go and maybe look at a striker like a Watkins after Mbeumo. That would obviously be pretty nice. But yes, let's continue into the next story. So we've got Paul Hurst coming out to say that United are considering a move for Jackson. Paul Hurst is the fourth source who has connections in and around Manchester United to confirm, yep, Manchester United are considering a move for Nicholas Jackson. Many sources, many outlets of information are saying that Nicholas Jackson is on the list. We're considering a move. We have interest in Nicholas Jackson. So after Mbuemo, this could honestly be one to watch. I am going to mention there's about 1 million links to there's like 1 million links to Emi Martinez, but I think it's just his agent. But we've been linked to Nicholas Jackson a lot, so it could be one to watch. And then last but not least, and I guess this could link to the links to Emi Martinez, maybe United would consider a swap deal. But we did have Simon Jones of the Mail say, Aston Villa are among the clubs monitoring developments with Manchester United's Garnacho, and there's ongoing interest from Chelsea. So that's an interesting one to look at as well. I think Garnacho's exit could develop now. I think now that we're in July, I think it could develop, especially with Chelsea's Club World Cup over with the money coming in. I think once one club makes their move for Garnacho and puts a bid in and maybe sets the price for the opening bid at like 55 million, I think other clubs will come in. I think they're all waiting for that first club to make that move. Anyway, that's your 10-minute roundup. Thank you for watching. Bye.